afternoon. Welcome again to Balance Wellness and Fitness Center. This is going to be a 25 to 30 minute relaxation yoga video. All is going to be done on the mat. This can also be adapted to standing and using a chair or bench. The only equipment you're going to need, other than anything you already know you need for comfort, is your mat or towel to lie on. If you're ready to begin, we'll start out in child's pose. We're going to take our feet long behind us, knees a little wide, just to start with. We're going to adjust them as we go, and just start to open up through the hips. We're going to take our arms long. You can take them beside you. You can also reach and grab your feet. If you find that your back and hips are really stiff and you need a little grounding, you can make little fists and make little pillows for your head so it has something to rest on, so you can find that grounding and lengthening. You could also use a yoga blanket, roll up your mat, or use a block. Let's start with big deep breaths going all the way down to the base of the lungs. And as you exhale, start from that base and bottom. Use those lower abs to help push the air on out. Easy breaths in, easy breaths out. Nice and slow to start to warm up the lungs. Allow the blood to flow and the tissues to warm. As things begin to soften, adjust anything that needs to be adjusted. If your hands are forward, let your fingers be soft and spread. And with each breath, let the hips open a little bit more and a little bit more. We'll stay here for one more round of air, and then we'll carefully start to walk the arms in just a little, just enough so you can shift the legs together and let your torso lay on top of your thighs and start to open up through the lower back now. You may need to readjust to where you were if you had that block or pillow or blanket underneath your forehead, feeling a different sensation of tightness. Make those adjustments. And just let your body open up. Again, those nice, easy breaths. Full breath in and full breath out. Coming all the way from that lower abdomen to help push out and using that pelvic floor. Let's get 2 more full rounds of air here. Big breath in and exhale that air out. And one more. And we'll let that breath go. As you start to draw a little bit more awareness, be aware of where your feet are at. We're going to squeeze our glutes to bring us up to our knees into a table position. We're going to spread our fingers wide, index finger the same line as your spine or the outside of your mat. We're going to draw the shoulder blades down. Take a peek back to see where your feet are. Bring the middle toe in line with the heel and in line with the crease of your knee. Knees are underneath the hips and hands are underneath the shoulders. We're going to prepare for going cat-cows. Take a breath here. Exhale, start with your pelvis and that tailbone, gently rounding up, letting all that air go. Chin tucks towards tailbone. As you inhale, start to lengthen back out. Tailbone goes to the sky. Shoulder blades down. Chest lifts and looks forward. We'll exhale. Again, always leading with the pelvis. Think of safety of your spine. Use those abdominals. Inhale. Melting, going to that upside down seat. Shoulder blades down. Lift the heart right up. And again. Rounding right out through, crown of the head looking down, pressing on all 4 limbs. Inhale, gently release. Let's get one more here. Leading with that pelvis, abdominals are helping. And inhale, carefully coming back. Take it all the way to your cow. And then gently find your table. Give yourself a big shoulder roll with an inhale. Draw them down your ribs. Keeping the weight on 3 limbs, let's float the right arm forward. Let's inhale and reach to the shoulder blade. Keep everything steady. Exhale, pull it in. Let's do that 2 more times. Just getting a little more mobility here. And reach. Gently pull. Keeping that hand here with an exhale. Take the hand back, thumb is down. Fan the hand, bring it back forward. And do that again. Spine stays stable. And back forward. Now let the head follow and look. Exhale your way back forward. Again, just let the head follow and look. We warm up our spine. Now go through the shoulder. Head, shoulder, everything looks and curls. Bring it back forward. And one more. As we open up these obliques. We'll bring this hand down. Give yourself a cat-cow here. And find your way back to that table. We'll float that left arm forward. With an inhale, reach forward. Exhale, pull back in. And we'll reach and pull, keeping everything else nice and steady. We'll stay here. Gently turn the palm so the pinky's up and thumb is down. Reach back beyond your hip. Fan the hand as you come back. Not trying to reach above or letting it drop, staying in line with your torso. Now we'll gently turn just through the head and neck, giving your neck just that gentle stretch. Going to where it's still comfortable, and we'll make it bigger. Follow now with the shoulder, just curling through the torso and bringing it back forward. And one more. And gently come back forward. We'll float this hand down. Give yourself a cat-cow. Gently move to that spine. Find your table. I'm going to walk my hands to the right, keeping my pelvis looking forward. Just go to where you can move through those ribs that your hips don't start to follow. Reposition the hands so they are underneath your shoulders. One hand is going to most likely be off the mat. And 3 cat-cows here. Start by just taking a breath and pull your shoulder blades down and just let that left side body open up. And then we'll inhale into our cow. Exhale on into a cat. And we'll inhale. And exhale. Still leading with the pelvis even though we are in a side opening position. Look at that. Here's a cat. And exhale. Let's go for 5 instead of 3. Inhale back to your cow. So we have 2 more. Exhale into your cat. And our last one to this side. Use those abdominals, draw in, leading with the pelvis. Hold your cat, walk back center, still hold that cat and press away. Big breath to come into your cow. Sit back into child's pose. Keep the legs a little bit in between. So you've got your table legs, so you get a little bit of hip, a little bit of back. Walk the hands forward to an active pose. Just give yourself that nice lengthening there. One more breath here. As you exhale, press the ground away through your shins. Use your hands. Come back up. Find your table. Walk your hands to the left side. Reposition. Make sure everything, fingers are still spread. Hands are underneath the shoulders. And you're only going through the ribs so your hips don't start to come with you. Take that big breath and let it go. And inhale your way into your cow. Exhale on into your cat. And inhale into the cow. Exhale into your cat. Back with that inhale, shoulder blades down, chest is lifted. Exhale, round into your cat using those abdominals. And into that cow for 4. And back to your cat. Here's our last one. And lead back with your cat. And hold your cat. Keep your cat as we walk back center. And let's start to walk the legs wide. We're going to sit back into that child's pose that we started with. Just check in, see where things are at. Take the arms where they are comfortable for you, whether they're forward, reaching for your feet, or resting on your feet. Everyone has a position that works better for their back and their hips and their bodies. So by all means, find the one that works better for you. Give yourself another full round of air here, and then slide the hands back. Press up just that little bit so you can walk the shins underneath, so we can open up the lower back now. And then send the arms again where you need them to be. If they're forward, you need those little pillows. Give yourself those little pillows with your fist or your block, or rolling up your mat. 2 more full breaths here. Notice if things have started to shift a little bit more open, or feel just a little ease if it was really tense. With your next exhale, draw the hands back, press yourself up, and we're going to find our table again. We're going to go for a thread the needle. So let's check out our feet, make sure everything's in place. We're going to stay on 3 limbs. Left hand stays down, and we're on those shins. With your inhale, just gently roll through those ribs to the right. Fingers are spread wide. Exhale, send the arm on through. But we're not going to go down yet. We're going to do 3. Inhale back up a little bit bigger. Exhale, reach through a little bit further. Now with this inhale, make it as big as you can. Big, 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 big. Exhale, send this arm on down and through. Gently start to fold down. If you need to roll up your mat, or grab that thing for comfort, grab that thing for comfort so you can let your head rest in a nice position for your body. And if you haven't sent that left arm forward, send it reaching forward. So the hands are reaching in opposite planes to get the most lengthening out of your spine. Hips can be up, hips can be down. Find the position that works for you, that allows your shoulder girdle just to open up and stretch comfortably. 2 more breaths here. Big breath in, and a big breath out. And another breath in. We'll let that breath go. With this inhale, take your attention to that left hand, the one that's reaching forward on your mat, and start to walk it back, bringing it underneath the shoulder. Spread the fingers wide if they're not, and start to press the ground away with that left arm so you can unthread the right. Bring it in alignment with the left into that table position, and give yourself a couple of cat-cows here just to move through. And then we're going to go into playful puppy. Tailbone stays high. Send those arms forward, pressing the shins back. Toes are connected. Let your chest just drop. If your chest could drop between your knees right now, that's where we go. 1 more breath here. And on your exhale, soften through the elbows and start to walk the hands back. We'll find our table again to do our thread the needle on the opposite side. Cat-cow if you need. Otherwise, find that table. Inhale that left arm up just a little ways. Exhale, send it on through. Inhale it up a little further through the ribs. And exhale it on through that right side. 1 more, as big as you can. And send that on through, sliding the hips back so the shoulder can connect to the earth. Once you've got it in a stable position, take that right arm forward to give you length. Nice big breaths here. Full rounds of air. And again, if you need something for comfort, gently come out of the position. Grab what you need underneath your head and shoulder and come back down. 2 more full breaths here. Big breath in, and exhale, and 1 more, and let's let that breath go. With your next inhale, take attention to that right hand. Start to slide it down underneath the right shoulder, fingers spread, press the ground away to carefully come up. Give yourself another cat-cow here just to move. Bring the legs close. Sit in a child's pose one more time here. Let yourself go into a resting child's pose this time. Knees are close together, arms where you need them. If you need to make those pillows, make those pillows. One more breath. Slide the hands in. Gently walk those knees apart. Let the chest gently go through. Take the arms back where you prefer them to be. Give yourself another round of air. And then we'll carefully slide the hands back. We have one more prone position we will do before we go on our back. We're going to go into a pigeon. If you know you can't go into a pigeon with any comfort, just join us on your back and go to a figure 4 stretch. If you're coming into your pigeon, find your table again. Take those knees apart. If you prefer to go all the way up and swing the leg through, go ahead. But we're going to stay in this restful position. Just draw the right knee through. Find the comfort. Let it slide through. Swing the foot over if it's available to you. Everybody's pigeon's a little different. If you prefer to lengthen the leg and stay here into a modified king pigeon, stay here. If you're comfortable starting to lower yourself down, lower yourself on down to the ground. If you need to tuck your back toes, if you've had knee surgery, knee issues, to put that patella in a good position, do so. If your hips are super tight and you're going, oh, can't do that, come back up, sit over on your hip, and come into king pigeon. If you're going there, aim your kneecap and your middle toe, your navel and your kneecap. Lift up through the chest, drop the shoulder blades down your spine if you're staying here in the king pigeon. All of the above modifications will help open up your hip. So there's no wrong or right. You just need to do with what your body is comfortable with. We're going to hold this for 2 more breaths before we take this into another modification to continue opening up the obliques. And no matter where you're at, you will still go to the same thing, the direction. We're going to take that left foot and start to bring it towards the right corner of the mat. We're going to start to open up that left oblique a little bit more. So if you're up in king pigeon, you're going to bend your knee and start to take it back there. And if you're on your back in a figure 4, bring that leg on down and cross it on over to the mat. Now let's hold this for a couple more breaths before we add the upper body in. And some of you may have needed to make a few adjustments to find what was going to work for you. With this next breath, let's start thinking about that left arm. We're going to start to move the upper body there. If you're here in a traditional pigeon, take that left arm, cross it over to the right side of the mat. If your body's not ready, just gently find a halfway point and ease it over there. If you're up in king pigeon, start to walk your hands, both hands, to the right and open on up. Keep the shoulder blades down and your chest lifted if you're there. If you were in that figure 4, what you're going to do is take your arms up overhead, take that right arm and reach over for that left. And opening up like a half of a banana, a little crescent. Now let's hold that for a couple more breaths as everyone has had to make some adjustments. And the point of this is to be able to open up a little bit slower than a slow flow, but a little bit more movement than some restoratives. We're kind of in between with this video. Give yourself another breath here. And on your exhale, start to bring the upper body back in alignment. So if you're on the ground, let go of your wrists, bring them back down at your sides. If you're up in king pigeon, bring your hands back into where you started. And the same if you're a traditional pigeon. And then we're going to press ourselves up. Give yourself a little bit of a back bend, squeeze through the shoulders, and let's find our table again. If you're staying for that figure four, give yourself a couple pelvic tilts and pelvic peels. If you're in table, give yourself a cat-cow or two just to move the spine so you can balance it out as well. Now let's take that left knee forward. It may be a very different experience than the other, and find where you need to be. And if you're up in a modified king pigeon, you may be here. You may be over here, full king pigeon, in that navel towards that left knee, pressing the ground away, shoulder blades down. You may be down on the mat, or you may be in that beautiful figure four stretch. All open up the hips. Nice big breath. I'm just going to demonstrate that figure four stretch super quick. Should have did that on the other side, and I think everybody is very familiar with that. The same side hand is on the inside, the opposite side hand is on the outside of the ankle. Hold here for 2 more breaths before we make our next move. And that's to start to add in that right oblique down. And we'll let this last breath go. And now start to take the awareness to that right leg. If you're down in traditional pigeon, you're going to start just to inch that leg on over to the left corner of the mat. If you're sitting up in king pigeon with a modified, same thing. You're going to inch that on over. If you're lying on your back and you did the figure four, you're going to let go of that leg and cross that left ankle over the right knee and start to take that to the right corner. Let's hold this for 2 more breaths before we add that additional stretch in with the upper body. I think you know where we're going now. Big breath in and a big breath out and another breath in and let that breath go. So from here, we're going to take that opposing hand, that right hand, and cross right on over. You didn't see me flip the wrong leg up there. And if you're up in king pigeon or modified, you're walking yourself over towards that left upper corner. And then if you're on the ground, you're going to release out of your figure four. If you haven't, cross the ankle over, take the arms up, and take them over to the left side of the mat. Everybody should be opening up, feeling that right oblique just opening out, but in a comfortable position. 2 more breaths here. Big breath in, and let it go. And 1 more. And let that breath go too. We're going to start to walk our hands back no matter where you're at to a neutral position. If you're on the ground, bring them down to your sides. And if you're in one of the pigeon positions, have them underneath so you can press yourself up. Find your table. Give yourself a final cat-cow here. If you're on your back, hug your knees into your chest. And then we'll either cross our ankles, we're all going to our backs now, or sweep your feet to the side so you can carefully roll on your hips. Scooch towards the edge of your mat, that far end so you can lie on down. Lower yourself gently, 1 vertebrae at a time. If you don't have that abdominal strength, come to your side. Lower yourself down. Be kind to your body. Find a nice neutral position with a heavy head and a heavy tailbone. We're going to bend the knees at first as we go into a modified candlestick. Walk your arms down long, reaching for your heels. Take the right foot, flex the toes, and push the heel to the sky. Nice big breaths here. Now try to spread those toes as you're pushing. If you need to use your hands because the leg is really tight or shaking, go right ahead. We'll start to soften the foot, fold back through the knee. Keep that neutral spine. Lift the left leg up. Same thing. And again, if it's tight or shaking, go ahead. Make sure to stay with the thigh versus behind your knee. Don't try to reach up for the calf. Now spread those toes. As you're pushing, good. Soften the foot. Gently fold down. Give yourself a pelvic tilt or two. And then find your neutral spine again. Walk those hands down. Feel the length in your neck. Draw the abs in and up. Engage your pelvic floor. Let's take that right leg. Push it onto the sky. Take the hands behind the thigh. Keep those shoulder blades down. Start to draw towards you as you push up through the heel and spread those toes. One more breath. Fold down. Keep that abdominal position. Bring the left leg. Push it on up. Reach for that thigh as well. Spread the toes. One more breath. Soften. Fold down. Keep your neutral spine. Keep the abs in and up. Let the pelvic floor go for a moment as you draw your legs up. Connect the feet. Add the pelvic floor. Push the legs back up. Push through the heels. If you need to go back for one at a time, go for one at a time. Now what I'd like you to do is just do a little pelvic tilt, drawing in. Feel that in. Now find your neutral and let your legs come forward. Find that stretch. If you need to put a hand on each leg for a moment, just for a little engagement of the core, go right ahead. Then fold through the knees. Hug them in, let your back soften so we can stretch the glute maximus as well. So purposely lose your neutral spine. You don't hear me say that often, but the glute max needs a stretch too. Hug this right on in. Engage that pelvic floor. That's going to help deepen the stretch as well as through the transverse abdominis. Circle through your ankles here for a moment. Go both ways. Gently rock side to side. Giving the spine a little bit additional massage as well as those gluteal attachments. And we'll gently lower one leg at a time down. Keep the feet about 2 fist distance apart. Take your arms out to your sides. Let the knees fall to the right. Nice, easy breath. We've made it to the end of this, just balancing this out with an easy twist, getting the spine in all directions and letting the hips open. Or walk that left foot out ever so slightly. Pick up the right foot and place it on top of the left knee or thigh, if it's available to you. Just to get a little bit more stretch to that hip. If it's not available to you, just continue walking that leg out. Don't pull it open. Feel the rotation through the femur, up in the head. Take it off. We're starting to inch that left foot back into the mat in its place. Position. And allow them to gently float over to that left side. Feeling the difference from side to side. And as things get a little softer, start to walk that right foot out and away. And if it's available to you, pick up that left foot and place it on that left knee or thigh. Or again, not bringing that knee past the armpit. And just let it open up and spiral down towards the ground. 2 more full breaths here. Big breath in. And another breath. And if you have your left foot on your right knee, gently take it off. And let's start to walk that leg back in. We'll find its spot alongside the left. Hug the knees in to balance this out. You can again rock side to side or draw a few circles each way on the ceiling, big ones. If you're doing circles, go ahead and even them out, and we'll lower one leg down at a time. And we'll start just gently make a soft diamond with the legs, letting the knees fall out. letting the arms go open to finish opening up the hips. Give yourself several breaths here just to reground before you roll to your better side to come up. When you are ready, pull the knees in. Gently push yourself to that side. Take your time coming up. I thank you for joining me on the mat, and I hope that you found some ease with your back.